34 past the hour, 18 months after the October 7th massacres. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu met with President Trump at the White House yesterday as Israel forces expand operations in Gaza. They're seizing more territory in an attempt to increase the pressure on Hamas. The president was asked about where efforts to end the war and reach a new hostage deal stand today.
I'd like to see the war stop, and I think the war will stop at some point that won't be in the too distant future. Right now we have a problem with hostages. We're trying to get the hostages out. We got quite a few of them out, but it's a long process. It shouldn't be that long.
Right now, 58 people who were abducted on October 7th are still held hostage by Hamas. Up to 24 of them are believed to still be alive. Joining us now are Keith Siegel, an American-Israeli dual national who was released in February after being held by Hamas for 484 days, and Aviva Siegel, his wife, who was held for 51 days. And I thank you both so much for being with us today. Keith, I know it's been 2 months since you were released. How are you processing things today?
Thank you for having me. Thank you for this opportunity. I'm doing whatever I can to work on bringing the remaining 59 hostages that are still held in Gaza, bringing them back home, reuniting them with their families. This is my mission. This is what I get up for in the morning. I think about hostages that I met in Gaza. I am worried about them. I spent time with Matan Angrist. I'm holding his picture now. He was critically injured on October the 7th. He has not received the medical attention that he needs. He and the remaining hostages in Gaza are suffering day in and day out. We need to get them back. I am profoundly thankful and grateful to President Trump for securing the deal that brought me home. I encourage him to continue his efforts to get a deal that will release all of the hostages as soon as possible.
And I think, Aviva, so much of the conversation that I had with you, I think it was last September, when, Keith was still in the horror tunnels. And I'm thinking, Aviva, of the 51 days that you spent there with him, the moment that you were separated from him. And Keith, you talk about it, and Aviva, it's about the suffering. On October 7th, Aviva, your meniscus was ripped. Keith, you were shot in the hand. Your ribs were broken as you were pushed into your own automobile to be sent to Gaza. Aviva, how do you process things now that you're back with them, but for those many days that you were separate?
Thank you, everybody, and thank you so much for having me again. I just want to say that I'm the happiest person getting Keith home. It was the biggest present that I could ever get in my life. But Keith came back as a hostage after 484 days and leaving the hostages that he was with, these young guys. I'm so worried about them. They're still there underneath the tunnels. I'm happy having Keith, but I'm so worried. There is Gali and Zivi. They're 27 years old. I just don't know how to handle this. I see their mom in front of my eyes and them suffering, her suffering, and it needs to end. And I want this opportunity to beg President Trump and Bibi Netanyahu to get them out before it's too late. Thank you.
Thank you. Keith, been thinking a lot about what those 484 days must have meant and been like. And Maimonides wrote that it is the human rational faculty that links us to the divine. Rabbi Nachman believed that even in despair, a small point of light could renew us. Keith, how did you rationalize so much evil? And were you able to find a point of light in all that darkness?
My wife Aviva and my family, my 4 children, my 5 grandchildren, my siblings, my extended family, gave me much strength, and much belief and faith, something that helped me survive the 484 days. I knew I had something to live for, and this was my center of attention. This is what helped me get through this horrendous ordeal and get back to my loved ones.
How do you rationalize so much hate, so much evil, so much destruction? And I'm just thinking, Keith, I know that some of the things that remain with you are, yes, of course, the mistreatment that you suffered, but also what you witnessed as to evil upon other human beings that you were with there.
I never imagined how evil people could be until I witnessed torture, literal torture of hostages that I was held with. This haunts me to this day, witnessing this, seeing this abuse, seeing this torture, and not being able to help people in this situation. I really suffered from the suffering of others and not being able to help them. I think about this every day. I think about the remaining 59 hostages in Gaza. I must do whatever I can do to get them out. I call upon all of you, good people, people that want good for the world, for the people, to do whatever you can do to help us get the remaining hostages back home. It's urgent. They're in a life-threatening situation. They're suffering physically, mentally, emotionally. Please help us. And I call again upon President Trump to continue his efforts and to get the hostages back.
Keith, 484 days in the life of a human being, for the most part, don't make an impact on us. But your 484 days were 484 lifetimes. How do you, Keith, and Aviva, 51 days, 51 different lifetimes, how do you go forward with that scar?
I can say that I've put myself aside, and the only thing that matters, just like it mattered to me, bringing Keith home, bringing all the rest of the hostages home. And that's the most important thing. God gave us a heart to feel. My heart is broken for their families, for them, knowing where they are underneath the ground, just begging to get out of there. I suffered for 51 days. I suffered for 1 year and 2 months, worrying where Keith is, if they're starving him, if they're beating him, or if they've killed him, not knowing anything about Keith's conditions. And like Keith came home back, and I feel like a different person. I want that so badly for their families and for my country to go back to normal life.
Keith?
I am a very lucky man. I am a very grateful man to have survived, to have been released. And I owe my thanks to all that made the effort to have this happen. I am on a mission to do whatever I can to get the remaining 59 hostages back. And I hope and I pray and I believe that this will happen soon.
Keith and Aviva Siegel, I thank you very much for being with me this morning. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.